Hello everyone, my name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is May 10th, 2022, and I'm coming to you again for the second time for the weekly live stream. Apologies for the delay. I know it's meant to be between 4 and 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but there was something I had to do for my wife, and so I definitely had to do that, and I had to push this back. So apologies, but I'm here. We're still going to have the live stream. Please shout your name out if you're here. Like the video, like the stream, if you can, please, just so the YouTube algorithm knows to send it out to more people. All right, so today we're going to talk about, obviously, what Bitcoin's doing. The last 40 days have been insane. 40 days, 40%, pretty much, right? It's around a little less than 40%, but pretty much the last 40 days have seen a 40% decline ever since 48K, yeah? So it's been very tough. Emotions are very raw. People are pissed, right? We can even have a look at our fear and greed index, and we're in extreme fear right here, yeah? Today was, I think it was official sub 10. Yeah, it was 10, okay? Actually, it was below 10 because we hit the 29Ks, right? We hit in 29,000 last night. So people are angry, are fearful, are really frustrated. And so please do be mindful, okay? If there's anything I can do as somebody who has a platform, even with a small audience, I can remind people, this is just money. This is cool and it's fun and it's, necessary to a certain extent. But what's more important is people's lives, okay? And people in real life are taking their lives because they're so sad, because they're so frustrated, because they're so depressed at this price action. So please be mindful when you're interacting with people over social media. There are real people behind the monitors that you're writing to most of the time. Some of the time, okay? Sometimes it's bots, okay? You can say whatever you want to bots. But just try and be kind, and try and be kind to yourself as well, I know it's tough. This is very, very, very difficult, and not everybody has the tools to be able to deal with 40% down in 40 days. That wears on you. I don't care what kind of trader you are. I don't care what you're invested in. You felt something, right? You felt some pain, okay? So it's okay to acknowledge it. It's okay to be pissed off. It's okay to be afraid, okay? And instead of interacting with people who say, haha, I told you, idiots, it was going down, or I told you not to buy this or that, block that out. Choose. You have the choice. You are in the driver's seat. You can choose to interact with that. You can choose to give that power. You can choose to give that your attention, or you can choose to tune in or select people, platforms, media that reflect a more compassionate tone, right? Are more educational or more practical. What are you going to do with haha, I told you so? That doesn't help anybody, right? Everybody makes mistakes. So for those people who are under the illusions, or they pretend to be perfect and have perfect reads, like, that's not what trading's about. And you know that, right? Trading's about risk management. It's about making fewer mistakes than you do make good calls, okay? And sometimes it's about playing the long game. And people who like to say, those idiots, they usually don't have much of any strategies, and they're probably checking, intraday charts to make long-term decisions. They may not know much about anything, and that's fine. There's always a time and a place for, learning curves and developing a skill. So there's nothing bad about that either. Anyway, all I'm saying is be kind to yourselves, be kind to others. These are tough times. I want to acknowledge that. Besides anything that Bitcoin's doing, besides, any opportunities in the market, I think that is very important to state. So with that out of the way, we're on the daily chart, okay? And I'm still under the impression that this green box here is a buy box. I believe very strongly that what we did in December of 2020, what we did in May, June, and July of 2021, and what we're doing now are similar. We're grabbing liquidity from this very, very, very strong place of demand, right? Between 29 and 33K. We did it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. This is the 7th time we're taking buy orders from here. And if we zoom in, and we're going to zoom in a second, we can see that this is likely to be a launch point. So just probabilistically, again, all this is probabilistic. Nobody has a crystal ball. At least I don't. Let me speak for myself. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know for sure. And I'm not going to, sometimes I'm going to time the exact top or the exact bottom, but I don't care to. All I care to do is get close enough. So for me, buying here is close enough, right? Buying below that resistance right there is close enough. Even though we're here right now, do I feel a little stupid? Yeah and no. I'm fine actually, because I know I bought close enough, and my upside, should this trade play out in the way that I believe it will, is much greater than my downside, okay? I'm in pain now, I'm in drawdown now, but my upside is so much bigger. So I think this is the perspective you want to espouse as a trader. You're not looking to be perfect in your buying, right? Even if you're underwater, your thesis is the same. And those people who don't know much about anything regarding technical analysis will say, I told you guys this was a bad buy to buy on support there because we broke down, and since your buy you're down 20%, you idiot. Like, this is not, we're in a bear market. First of all, ask them to define bear market, and ask them to define, okay, what then should you do to take advantage of this volatility? Should I be a seller? Should I be a buyer, right? People just talk sometimes just because they want to sound correct or whatever, especially on social media. A lot of people are trolls. They literally spend their energy trolling. Don't invest yourselves in that, please. I think all the successful traders I know, and I have mentors like Jack Schrager. I don't know if you guys know the whole series of trading market wizards, okay? And basically his passion is to go around and interview people who are very successful at trading, and they have all kinds of different ways to trade. Some people trade, they're counter traders. Some people are only day traders. Sometimes people are only swing traders. Some people only trade up. Some people trade both ways. Some people only trade down. He interviews them, and he wrote this beautiful series of books called Market Wizards. One thing they all have in common, some of the things they all have in common, they all look at price action, they all keep it simple, and they all have good risk. Most of them have good risk management. There's one or two that don't, and he's still not sure how they're successful. And for him, to be successful, you need at least 10 years of a successful track record, and he looks at your P&L. So basically, most of what they all have in common is they buy support and they sell resistance, yeah? If they're going to make trades. And they look at the viability of a trade, and given the fact that we've come down about 50 some odd percent, almost 60% since all-time high, we can measure it, let's not be lazy. From all-time high, we're down 56%, okay, in Bitcoin. So if we're down 56% in Bitcoin, that means you're down 70, 80, 90% in some altcoins, right? That is historically a great time to buy. Throw out all of your opinions, all of your emotions out of it, and just think of that. If somebody told you, I'm going to buy this asset when it's most distressed, how distressed is it, sir or ma'am? It's distressed to the tune of 56% down from its all-time high. I would say, ooh, that seems like a good trade, because even if it does go down, it's it's pretty distressed as it is, right? There's likely a higher upside than there is downside. And I'll further add, if you look at the weekly chart, we can flip to the weekly chart. We've had 6 red weeks in a row. So if you are of the persuasion that is somehow convinced that, 30K is not the bottom, it's just a pit stop, and the real target is 20K or below, do you think we're just going to come down and completely ignore this historical support and hit 20K? Or do you think we're more likely to bounce up a little bit and then continue down? Okay, that's the question. So you want to be practical no matter your persuasion, your thought, right? Even if you're a perma bear and you think this is a legitimate bear flag, I think it's a good trade, not financial advice, to buy here, wait for the bounce, see what happens up here at major resistance, or maybe you think major resistance is right here, this support turn resistance, and then sell back out, right? So that's just, again, no matter if you're bullish or bearish, it is a good time to buy whatever your macro view of the market is. Of course, if you're subscribed to the channel, you'll know that my view is that we're gonna go something like this, consolidate, and then go up, go up, go up, and attack 100K or thereabouts. We're gonna make all-time highs, because if you zoom out, I believe that it's very clear, if you study Elliott wave theory, that this right here, this entire thing is not an impulse. It is a corrective pattern. And if it's a corrective pattern, then that means we're smack dab in the middle of a B wave, okay? For those of you subscribed, you'll have seen this many times. Okay, I'm going to change the color because I've got a lot of yellow on the chart. Whoops, I didn't mean to show that. That's for when the markets back up. You see, I'm already planning for after what I do after I take profit. Anyway, let's make that pink. Okay, so this is my B wave. A B wave is a counter wave, and what is it countering? It's a counter to this A wave, this 3-wave structure, initial breakup structure of your 5-wave trend. Okay, so for me, this initial breakup structure from 64K down all the way to the 30K region was your first move down. Everything since then has been a counter, and we've essentially just put in the small wave A, the small wave B, and now we need one last wave C to the upside. This is why I'm adamant in believing, according to my analysis, that we have yet to pump impulsively to the upside to complete this B wave, okay? And this B wave is going to be your counter, once again, to this 3-wave structure. Once we put that in, and we make an all-time high or come close to it or attack 100K, then we pivot. Then I believe we come down here once more, but we don't stop here, okay? And here's where I'm going to zoom out. And for those of you subscribed, I've shown this before. I believe what we will have is something to this effect, all right? So I'm on the log. I take my Fibonacci Retracement tool, right, from the bottom to the top, right? So on the bottom of this wave, this is a 5-wave structure, right? So basically from the capitulation, the March capitulation of the COVID crash, whatever you call it, that was a flat correction, perfect flat correction, A, B, C. You can see that 3-wave structure here. Then we put 5 waves in, boom. This, to me, is wave 1, and I can go to my sort of my larger chart, but I don't need to in this case. Just stay with me here. This is 5 waves up, so we need 3 waves, okay? So this is wave 1. Let me take this off. Quite simply, what I'm seeing here is this is wave 1. Wave 2 is going to come up here, make an all-time high, or come close to the 5 ratio of 104K. And then we get an impulse, a real impulse, okay? this was a mini impulse. What we've experienced since 48K, what I said 40% in 40 days, this was an impulsive move. Do you feel that? Do you see that? Do you understand how impulsive that is? We're going to switch to Luna, and I'm going to show you another impulsive move. Impulses are not a joke, and they are not slow. That is an impulse. 40% in 40 days. This, my friends, is not impulsive. Obviously, for those of you who study Elliott wave theory, you'll understand that sometimes you can get diagonals in impulses, right? So they're not always 5 through 5 through 5 wave structures, right? Sometimes they're in diagonals. Sometimes you get ending diagonals, 3 through 3 through 3. I get it. But by and large, impulses are impulsive, and they're quick and they're nasty, especially when they're to the downside. So the minimum retracement, oops, let me zoom back out. The minimum retracement of a flat correction is the 382 Fibonacci retracement level. So I took the Fibonacci retracement level from the bottom to the top of this 5-wave structure, right? These are 5 waves you see here. So A, B, so I'm waiting for B. So that's basically where I put my Tesla order in, or whatever, my ID4 order in. And then the shit really hits the fan, because the minimum retracement is the 382. We all know the minimum retracement of a wave 2, and this is wave 2, okay? I can prove that to you if you want. Just let me know in the comments if you want for me to go over why this is wave 2. I think it's the intermediate. Let's just look at it really, really quickly, okay? I'm not going to spend too much time, because that's not the purpose of this. Okay, I basically did all the wave count and all that stuff. So this is, see this box here? This is where the impulse ends, between the 382 and the 618. Basically, if you take a Fibonacci retracement tool from the bottom to the top, right, this is basically what we were just looking at. You'll see this box between the 382 and the 618, and we know that wave 2 ends between the 382 and the 618 on the balance of probability, okay? So that's where I'm expecting to be a buyer once again in Bitcoin. So for those that are super bearish, they are under the impressions that we're probably going to reach these targets immediately, but I think it's quite clear looking at the chart that that's not how it's going, okay? I think it's quite clear that there's plenty of buying pressure here, and that this is clearly not an impulsive pattern, right? This is clearly corrective, and this is a pivot. So don't be surprised if we get a major reversal and a swift reversal, just like you saw how fast we went down 40% in 40 days. That's nothing. So if this is a mini impulse, imagine what a bigger one feels like to the upside, okay? It's just going to be liquidating shorts and running up until it reaches its target, okay? And I don't imagine, and I looked at this in last week's live stream, that all of this will take more than 6 to 8 weeks, okay? So I might have my Tesla order in sooner than later. Obviously, I'm working on my skills. Nothing is for sure. This is just probabilistic. So don't make your life decisions. Don't bet your child's tuition or your mortgage on anything that I'm saying. I'm confident in my reads. I'm playing the long game. I know some people are saying, haha, you got dumped on. Thanks for the liquidity. But again, I've said this before, this 40%, first of all, I wasn't a buyer of 48K. I bought maybe around here, around 38 to 40K, okay? So I was in this downtrend. And even if I was a buyer of 48K, I'm still going to, my upside is still much greater. It's still a great trade. Again, you don't have to you're seldom ever going to get 100% of the gains of a trade, right? You just want to get close. You just want to get the meat of a move, okay? And the larger move remains to the upside, in my opinion, right? Anyway, the larger move to the downside is coming, I believe, after we go up and we come back down. And I moved to this because I wanted to show you that this was So this is the cycle, this is the primary, this is the intermediate, yes, and that's the minor. This is the minor wave. So we're in minor wave 2 in my estimation. And I'm not, again, this is not the live stream where I go over my entire Bitcoin count. If you want that, just leave it in the comments and I can go over that once more. But I believe that we're in minor 2. And so I am seeing Bitcoin coming all the way down to between 21,000 and at minimum 11,000. But that's after we go to another all-time high. So that's what I'm seeing, and that's why I'm seeing it. Back to our regular. So yeah, you just want to have a plan, my friends. You want to have a plan, and in these moves, you want to zoom out. Maybe you want to be trading on the daily or the weekly, but trying to day trade or intraday trade daily moves that are so volatile are tough. It's tough, okay? You can do it, but you're increasing your risk. And if you're not a world-class day trader, even if you are, question is it worth the risk, right? Have you allocated a small percentage of your gains and you're willing to lose that on leverage to, do all that stuff? That's why when people are saying, oh my God, it's over, you lost, bears or bulls are effed, it's like, what's your time frame? I am waiting for my trade to play out, and it's still valid. I thought we were going to bounce here above support, but it came down a little further. But when I'm zoomed out and I'm looking at my overall trade plan, nothing's changed, okay? And so I hope that helps. I did not have this perspective when I first started trading. I was very zoomed in. I actually didn't know. I didn't have a plan. You gotta have a plan, and sometimes that plan takes some time, and you don't exactly know how price or when price is gonna move to where you want it to move, or where you think it's going to move, but you have time on your side, you have patience, you have the composure to let your trade plan play out. So I'm not gonna be at all surprised once we start running and making 20% daily candles, and I already have my target set, and obviously I'm already bought into this. So that's what I think Bitcoin's doing. This is why I'm a buyer. This is why my trade plan hasn't changed. If you're subscribed to the channel, you'll know. And I understand for those of you that are in in drawdown, or maybe have lost money day trading, it's painful. Maybe you think I'm completely wrong and you want to unsubscribe and block me. I get it. I don't blame you, okay? Not everybody's going to see the charts the way I see them, and that's okay. This is just my trade plan that I'm sharing with you, and if you find any value in it, like the video or dislike the video. But I hope you're well, I hope you're safe, and whether you make money or not, I hope you're mentally well, right, during this time, because this game we play, that's trading and investing, it's not easy, and I think during the course of it, hopefully you can learn to master yourself beyond the game of trading, to try and be positive irrespective of what the market's giving you, right? That's what I hope to do for myself, and I hope for other people that are also in this ordeal. All right, so that's what I think we're doing. I think we're gonna move any moment now. We've had 6 weeks down. We haven't had 6 weeks down ever in Bitcoin. Last time we had it actually was in 2014. So are we going to have a 7th? I think it's highly unlikely. Highly unlikely, okay? Again, we're playing the probabilities. Is something that's never happened going to happen? Eventually, there's always a first time for everything. But is it likely? No, I don't think it's likely. I think it's unlikely. And another reason I think it's unlikely is because this is not volume supported, okay? And again, I'm going to point to my indicators, right? People believe what they want to believe, and that's the beauty of trading, right? Everybody has their opinion, and they can trade accordingly. I'm going to be a buyer at critical support. I am not going to sell critical support. And one of the reasons why is volume is telling me that this downtrend is not volume supporting. It's volume divergent. So Once we start moving up, we should see volume come in because that's where the market wants to run in this pattern, okay? And so if we drop down to smaller time frames, we'll actually see that. You see, we're in the daily time frame. Not only are we completely bottomed out on the stochastic RSI, one of my favorite indicators. It's very simple. When it's on the top, you sell. When it's on the bottom, you buy. There are, more or less, okay? And so it's completely on the bottom, designating oversold territory, okay? And also it's crossed bullish. And then my volume indicator, one of my other favorite indicators, is showing me that it's had the most volume since December of 2021, okay? This whole time, we're, volatile, we're moving down. There is no volume. What does that mean? When we're moving down, up or down, and there's no volume, that means consolidation by definition, okay? And more precisely, when we're moving down in a strong downtrend and there's no volume, just like there was no volume here, right? So it goes both ways. We went from 30K to 69K, and there was very little volume supporting it. So it wasn't that much of a surprise that thereafter, once we found crucial resistance, we came down and formed this B of B wave, okay? Again, on no volume, meaning none of these are impulsive waves, right? Just, I'm going back into my Elliott wave jargon, my training. This is my base. This is my I'm how do I say this? I'm an Elliottician at heart, okay? That's like my foundation of trading, okay? Classical trading, and you need to know support and resistance, I believe, to be successful. But Elliott wave is where really I see a lot of, this is the vantage through which I see most of price action. And so I'm looking at this three-wave corrective. It's not impulsive. I'm not surprised when I don't see volume supporting it, okay? All of this to me is a pivot. It's a pivot. That's all it is. It's a pivot. It's a way for price to change direction. And only when this pivot is finished am I anticipating volume, because I'm anticipating that this three-wave corrective wave, this B wave, completes itself in this move up. So that will finally be the summation, the completion of this B wave. So I do expect volume to start moving up, and that's what we start to see. Last time we had volume was in the impulse of this A wave, okay? And it's volume supported because after 5 waves up, you get 3 waves down, and price wants to move down because the correction is counter to your 5-wave impulse, okay? So I hope that makes sense. Like, fundamentally, I think it's very clear. It's clear to me, but, everybody sees something different. But this is why I have such strong conviction, and I'm literally, they say you shouldn't do this, but I'm not counting the money, but I'm thinking about things that I want to do once I cash out, right? I'm building cars and shit. I'm not putting down deposits yet. Once we start moving, I might just, okay? So that's my conviction. Not to say that I'm right, but I'm confident, okay? Whatever that's worth, yeah? And those are the reasons I'm confident. I'm looking at my indicators, and my indicators are screaming, you're oversold, and you are going to move up on a large time frame, and your volume's kicking in. Ooh, that means impulse is coming. That's what it means. Now, we can go in a smaller time frame and even see what's going on, okay? And again, every time price changes direction, okay? So let's zoom out real quick just to illustrate this point, because I've shared this before, but I know that there may be some new people, and maybe some people just don't have a recollection of this. This whole thing I just called a pivot, right? What do I mean by that? And I talk about this a lot on this channel. If you're subscribed, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Every time price changes direction, it puts in a reversal pattern. A reversal pattern is a succession of 3 corrections. It's 3 successive corrections. Okay, it can be flats, triangles, or zigzags even, but your A wave is typically a flat correction, right? And it looks like this. It's a 3-wave structure. It's a flat correction. So this is your initial break of structure, okay? What follows is tricky. It's a B wave. B waves can look a number of different ways, but they're essentially all they are a counter to your A wave, okay, in 3. Okay, sometimes they come in triangles, sometimes they come composed, sometimes they just come simple. This one looks like this. Remember, the last bit of any correction is impulsive. So the last bit of this A wave was impulsive. The last bit of this B wave is impulsive. So it's hard to read because you don't know what it's going to look like. All you know is that it's going to be 3 waves, and it's going to be minimum retracement between 0.5 and maximum retracement 1618 of the A wave. So if you take your Fibonacci retracement tool, you see that the maximum this can go down to, if this is correct, is 26,000, okay? If this is correct and this is a pivot and it's not a continuation of the trend, okay? But if it's a pivot, then your B wave can look like this, okay? And I believe that all this is why it's been so tricky and hard to read, because it's a dreaded B wave. It's composed of an A wave, A of B, 1, 2, 3, B of B, and then an impulse, a messy looking impulse, but an impulse nonetheless, 5 waves down, okay? Don't ask me to count it. I had trouble counting it. If I didn't have trouble counting it, I would have traded it better. But I clearly had trouble counting it. But this, in some way, shape, or form, is an impulse to the downside. Now, once that impulse is complete, you need an impulse. Price doesn't just turn around and start going in the opposite direction. Once again, you're putting in a reversal pattern. Okay, so I'm going to drop down to the hourly time frame, and this is how I'm reading what we're getting here. And this is why I said this morning, I don't expect, although I see this as a reversal, I don't expect price to just up and go, right? I'm anticipating that we're putting in our reversal pattern. That's our A wave, our initial break of structure. That's showing that, okay, the downtrend is complete, okay? This is what I'm seeing. Again, these reversal patterns sometimes can be confused for intra-wave correction. So you can confuse a wave 4 correction for a reversal pattern. So just keep that in mind. But if this is the bottom, then you're going to have to put in a reversal. Wherever the bottom is, you're going to need that reversal. I'm going to change the color for this. So an A wave, a B wave is essentially counter. And once again, you're going to put in 3 waves. It can look composed. It can be a simple 3-wave structure. It's hard to say, okay? You're going to put in a B wave. This may be the end of the B wave. It may be wave A of the B wave. I don't know, okay? I don't know. That's important to say. And then you're putting in a final pivot that's going to be something like this. A, B, and then your wave out, okay? So essentially, I think that we're close. Whatever this is, if this indeed represents our support, right, between 33 and 29, which I believe it does, and it looks like it should be, okay? Because if it's not, then we nuke down even lower. And again, the lowest we can go, according to my analysis, is 26 to still maintain the integrity of this larger reversal pattern. This is a smaller reversal pattern. I hope I haven't lost anybody. But essentially, I'm seeing this initial break of structure. I'm seeing another B wave to the downside. And when that C wave comes, it's going to be unambiguous that we're in an uptrend. Absolutely unambiguous. Because it's just going to go and go and go and go. And it's going to make, 10%, 20% moves in an hour and stuff like that. So I think that's going to be fun. I think a lot of people are waiting for that. Maybe not the people who think that we're going to nuke down further. But anyway, this is what I'm seeing in the charts on the small time frame for Bitcoin, okay? So again, on the daily, completely bottomed out on the stochastic RSI. On the weekly, pretty much bottomed out on the stochastic RSI. On the 12-hourly, bottomed out and crossed bullish. On the 8-hourly, bottomed out and crossed bullish, right? On the 4-hourly, we've already run up into overbought territory. I expect us to come back down and then back up again. So this is what I'm seeing in Bitcoin. This is why I'm seeing it. Now, let's go into Luna, because I said we were going to talk about Luna, and we're also going to talk about our favorite altcoins, but we're going to talk about Luna. Why Luna? If you've been living under a rock, Luna is depegged, meaning it's lost its, or not Luna, but, okay, how do I say this? UST, which is the stable coin that is part of Luna's entire protocol, has depegged. And instead of being worth $1, which it's supposed to be pegged to the US dollar, it's worth, well, let's see what it's worth right now. But it was worth like 60 cents or something like that, okay? So right now, UST is 77 cents, okay? This is meant to be worth $1, okay? There are people out there, real people, who have invested thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars in this protocol, Anchor Protocol, where they promise a minimum of 19% APY, okay? Paid out daily. There's people that have invested in this that are taking their lives, okay? So please be sensitive when, or compassionate, okay? When discussing this and, pointing your finger at people who have invested in this protocol. It's tough. And this is one of the reasons why I think it's very, very wise. If you're going to invest in any DeFi protocol, use insurance. And they typically have a peg insurance. So in the case where you depeg for at least 2 weeks, you can get insurance for a certain amount. And they also have smart contract vulnerability insurance. I strongly recommend getting both if you're going to put substantial sums of money in any of these DeFi protocols. Remember, they're DeFi protocols, so there's no FDIC, there's no centralized authority that you can complain to, right? At best, there's maybe a Discord that you can go yell in, but that's it, right? So just be very mindful, please be careful. But I do think UST is going to regain its peg. USDT, for those of you who haven't been in crypto for so long, USDT some years back lost its peg, right? USDT, that we don't even question is worth $1, was worth like 70 cents for some time because of a crash or an exploit or something like that. So these things happen, okay? I'm looking at the chart, and one of the reasons I'm bringing up Luna is because my alarm went off. I had an alarm. I drew this box out, and I did this Elliott wave mock-up many months back. And Luna's actually part of my master plan. And my master plan is personally my investment strategy for many years, okay? And so I plan in some years to accumulate Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, and Luna. And so I have buy boxes at set for major support, okay? And so my alarm rang, and it indicated that I should be a buyer of Luna. And what happened? I don't know. I guess because of a fundamental, because of this depeg, okay, and this attack on Luna Foundation, the price of Luna rapidly accelerated down in its flat correction. But the interesting thing is it didn't do anything that we didn't expect it to do. It just did it faster, right? So if you'll see, I have Luna in wave 3. So cycle wave 3, primary wave. So cycle wave 3, primary wave 2. Wait, what am I saying? Cycle wave 3. Yeah, primary wave 2. Okay? So this is wave 2, primary wave 2. This is wave 1, primary wave 1. This is primary wave 2. And primary wave 2, as you would know, is simply an ABC flat correction. It can be it could be a complex correction. It could be whatever, right? But a wave 2 correction should be between. It looks like it's going to print a complex correction, actually. Okay, why? Because your initial break of structure should have been down to between wave 3 and 4 if it was a regular flat correction. Okay, so I would expect my A wave to come down here. Okay, so I think it was forming an A wave and probably going to go that route. Yet with these fundamentals, now it dropped down all the way down to the limit. Okay, and what's the limit? The limit is the 618, so around $14.82. That is the extent of the wave 2 correction, right? Given any Elliott wave, wave 2 can only come down as far back as the 618 of a 5-wave correction or a 5-wave impulse, right? I know some people, Elliott Wave Foundation, they think it can go as far as the beginning of the wave as long as it doesn't pass the beginning of the wave. But I think, I don't believe that. I don't ascribe to that. I think they're talking about a flat correction. In any case, I do believe that a wave 2 can only go as far as 618. So given that this initial wave, this initial break of structure has already come to the 618, I think that what we're going to get in Luna is going to be a complex correction. There's no other way. It's either got to be a WXY or WXYXZ, and it's going to go something like this. So we're going to get something like this for some time. Luna going up and down between the prices of $14 and $100, right? Maybe even not $100, maybe $60, right? Maybe the 618 of this whole thing. But I'm seeing this. If it's a WXY, if it's a WXYXZ, it can just ping pong up and down between this range. So this is what I'm seeing in Luna. But I think that this is a great time to buy. Anywhere around this bottom where I've got this box, that's essentially representing the 382 and the 618 of the entire move. Okay? So this is what I'm seeing, and so this is interesting. So if it starts to pump, I don't expect it to pump beyond this area because it's still in correction. This is just the first wave of correction. I hope that makes sense. This is a W wave. So if Bitcoin or Luna is part of my master plan, if I'm buying Luna, every time it comes in this box, I'm buying, especially at the bottom of the box. I'm buying because it's coming up and then maybe go back down, maybe up again, back down, and eventually it can continue its impulse to the upside for primary wave 3 of cycle wave 3. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I think that the caveat of all of this, and this is important to mention, should all things stay the same and fundamentally the project is still in good standing and they still have reserves and they're still functional, then I'm definitely buying this support, okay? But if fundamentally the project rugs and Do Kwon and his team give up, they capitulate, the project really stops being funded and supported, then, I'm not looking at the technicals anymore. So the technicals are provided fundamentally the project remains sound. I hope that makes sense. I hope that really helps you guys. But I'm a buyer of Luna. I think it's a great opportunity to buy Luna anywhere between the prices of, let's say, $15 and $30. That's between the 382 and the 618 of this wave 2 correction. Again, cycle wave 3, primary wave 2. I think we're in the primary wave 2. This is primary wave 1. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 purple count is primary wave 1. This WXY, let's assume it's a simple or a complex WXY correction, so a double 3 and not a triple 3, but assuming it's a double 3, I'm a buyer of Luna in this box, especially at the bottom of the box. So not financial advice, but now would be a clever time to buy Luna in absolute fear. And I don't believe that fundamentally the Luna Foundation, a guard, is going to stop their mission and give up on their project. I think that project is too well funded, and there's too much talent and even too much ego behind that project for them to give up now. They're going to lick their wounds and keep going, and this is going to have a massive recovery. But again, I don't believe that the recovery will exceed $100 or whatever, because I think, it's still in correction. So after Bitcoin hits all-time highs and everything else rallies, we're going to see, just like in everything else, Luna come down for its impulse, most likely for its Y, and that would put it in the cycle of everything else in the crypto market. So that's my take on Luna. If you guys are getting value, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. All right, so that's my master plan. I can talk about my master plan at some other stream. I don't want to talk about it right now, but yeah, I do have a master plan. It's like a long-term strategy. The things I plan to accumulate and where I plan to accumulate them. I basically used my skills in Elliott Wave to map out a lot of different assets and where I want to accumulate them. And usually you can tell by the boxes. ADA's just touched the box, the top of the box, but I'm not accumulating yet. I'm waiting for it to come up and back down for me to accumulate this asset. Anyway, now let's go into our favorite alts for this cycle right now. Okay, I'm just going to talk about REV, Kadena, and Verasity as usual. And that will be it. So REV has taken quite another tumble, okay? But we're still within our pivot, okay? And how do I know that? So I take, once again, my Fibonacci Retracement tool from the bottom of this A wave to the top, and I see we're still above the 1618, okay? And we're close, but I'm anticipating, or I'm seeing the 1618 as being the extreme of this B wave. If this is an A wave, if this is a B wave, it can only come to a maximum of 1618, which is 0.00147, before being essentially, before this is no longer a reversal pattern and this is just a continuation of a downtrend or an impulse to the downside, right? I'm still looking to take profit on REV at next major resistance at around a penny. Okay, so I'm looking for a move back up very soon, okay? Cross bullish very beautifully on the daily stochastic RSI. Beautiful decreasing volume, right? Divergent of this downtrend, right? Ever since we've been going down from this point, basically fewer and fewer people selling the asset. It would seem as if the whole world is selling, right? You feel like everybody's dumping on you if you're looking at it, and especially if you're invested in it. You're like, oh my God, my money's going to nothing. But look at it objectively. Look at the volume. Volume's telling you. Fewer and fewer people. The lower it goes, fewer and fewer people are selling. Actually, more and more people are buying, but not enough people that are buying to make it move up, except when it was around here, okay? Here we had quite a few buyers. I was one of those buyers. I thought this was a good support. I thought this was where we were going to go back up, okay? And you can see that in the volume. The stories that volume tells. If you can read volume, I mean, the market speaks to you, okay? I was here. I was buying here. I was one of those that spiked the volume here. And you could see that was one of the places where volume started moving up. And so I was like, okay, I'm in good hands. I'm in good company. We're going to reverse, but we didn't. And that's okay. Once again, you don't need the bottom. Zoom out. Zoom out. I bought here and I'm under, but still I'm not looking to sell at a loss. My larger plan in this trade is still makes me very profitable if this plays out. And what's that mean? Basically, if I'm zooming out, I'm looking at my major resistances to the top side, And even if I bought here, once I get up here, I won't give a damn if I bought here or here, okay? And also I'm going to try and clean up my entry at this first major resistance. Again, it's all strategy. It's all strategy. And just because you don't immediately get results, and maybe some people may try and make fun of you, or they'll subscribe to the channel, or they'll look at your analysis and say, you're an idiot. You bought up here and then we proceeded to dump 60%. You're probably going to hang yourself or something. Like, no. Perspective. This is for my family trading group. I have a small family office, EBF Investments. I trade for my mother and my wife and myself and my other company and my kids. There's a tagline, and it's 3 words. It's basically the mission: patience, perspective, and planning. They're all very essential for success in trading. You have to be patient. For those people who expect to buy and then expect the price to just move the day they buy or the day after and to have no drawdowns, that's not how this works, right? And sometimes it does, but that's okay if it doesn't. Perspective. Even at 60% drawdown, I'm okay because I recognize the market we're in. I recognize where Bitcoin's at. I recognize the upside potential of this trade. From here, I stand to make a 90x, okay, versus the loss of, so 9,000%. I stand to make 9,000%, although I'm in a drawdown of 60%. Do you see what I mean? Like, the trade, you would take that trade any day of the week. If somebody said, hey, would you make 9,000% if you risk 60%, or you're in drawdown 60%? You'd say, hell yeah, I'd take that trade. I'm in that trade. But I have to I'm using my skills in technical analysis to give me that perspective. And the planning is, when to buy. Maybe I should have not emptied my stables all at that point. Maybe that's one way I can refine my trading strategy, but it's all the same to me because I do have a strategy for cleaning up my entry somewhat. Once we get up here at this major resistance, this is why I'm a seller here. Not because I'm not looking to sell here, but because I'm looking to clean up my entry, right? Because my entry was a little sloppy. It was higher than I would have wanted, okay? And I'm okay with being down 60% because I understand the volatility. High risk, high reward. If you want those 9,000%, don't cry when you don't buy the absolute bottom and the market turns against you for 60%. Do you see what I mean? This is perspective. You want to gain perspective, right? So just the same for people who bought Bitcoin around here, right? Maybe even, let's say you bought at this resistance at 40,000, 41,000, okay? Look at your risk reward. You're risking, maybe you're in a drawdown of 25%. Big whoop, okay? Big whoop. You're still standing to make. Look at all this clear blue sky. Every time we breach this resistance, we go up and test the top of this channel. So you're risking 25% to make 75%. That's a great trade, my friend. You did it right, right? Even if you're in drawdown, understand what you're doing. Zoom out. You have good perspective. You're patient enough to let the trade play out, and you planned it all. So you just have to wait, okay? It's not the easiest thing, but this is important, right? This is important. And this gives you a bit of calm in these difficult times when it's really difficult to see your money reduced by so much, right? You put in $10,000 and now it's just $2,000 or $1,000, right? It's tough to look at. And then your spouse or your significant other's asking, hey, how's crypto going? And you don't want to talk about it because you feel like a failure, and you don't want them to see you as a failure, and you're afraid because you don't know. You don't have the courage of your convictions and your reads or what somebody said on YouTube, and you think maybe we'll go down to 20, 15K, and you'll just look at your money go down, 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 and down, and you had all these plans for paying for this and that, and providing for your family in this way or that way, or so keep working on your skills, keep working on your reads, keep working on your your charting, or your DCA strategy. If you don't want to worry about charting, you just average out your buys. So whatever the price is you buy at that's a good strategy. But you have a strategy and you're comfortable in whatever your strategy is, and that's how you made peace with your situation. So even in these difficult times, you're okay. Yeah? You can always start now if you haven't started yet. Don't beat yourself up. You're doing your best. You're going to be okay. Okay? And if you're one of those people who are leverage trading and lost tens of thousands of dollars leverage trading, right? It's fine too. It's hard. Trust me, I've been there. I have been there. I'm speaking from experience. I've lost a ridiculous amount of money leverage trading. But for those of you doing that or in that experience, understand when to leverage trade and when not to leverage trade. And maybe you're not leverage trading at all for some time and only doing it with money that you can afford to lose because it's high risk. Okay? So yeah, that's Luna. That was Ravane. Now, Kadena. Kadena is actually holding up really well, better than most altcoins right now, okay? Right now, Kadena hasn't even hit the 618. It's right in the golden mean. This correction is quite nice. This, to me, is my initial break of structure, my A wave, 3 waves here. This is my pivot that I'm seeing right here. So let me get my pen out, draw this out. So here's my pivot right here, my initial break of structure for my B wave. I'm preparing for my B wave. This is my B of B, okay? So this is A of B, B of B. And so I'm seeing an impulse to the upside, okay, for Kadena. And I'm still in, okay, so this can't be. So do you see what I just did there? I just told you that this is an A wave. This can't be an A wave because you see what I did there. I took the inverse Fibonacci retracement and we're way past the 1618. So I'm looking at this differently. This, to me, if I'm not overthinking it, looks like a zigzag. This is big. Because we just breached the 1618, this can no longer be, this is no longer A preparing for B and then 5 waves down C. You know what this is likely? And this is exciting, my friends. This is clearly 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is why I love live streaming. This is why I love sharing my analysis, because I sometimes have these epiphanies that I didn't see. But having the live stream, sharing my analysis forces me to do this. I'm such a buyer of Kadena right now. And here's why. This is 5 waves. This, to me, is a 3-wave structure. 1, 2, 3. Something like that. Okay? Okay, yep, yeah, exactly. This is A of B, B of B. This is 5 waves down, C of B. This is a zigzag. I'm so excited. Kadena is going to do ridiculous things in this, given what I'm seeing here, right? Because heretofore, I had the cap of our upside being the phi ratio of this A wave. Right here, do you see? 1618 at around 79. But it can't be. I hope you guys understand. This has to be a 535 structure, which means after this, I'm anticipating 5 waves up. So, okay, I'm getting excited here. If we take this as A, this is your initial 5 waves. This B wave is my 3 waves down, okay? And What do you need for a zigzag to be a zigzag? Two things. You need 5 waves in your A wave. You need 3 waves in your B wave, and you need a retracement between the 0.5 and the 618 of your A wave, but no more than the 618, or else it's no longer a zigzag. If it breaches the 618, it has to be a flat correction, okay? And then it has to come to at least a 786 on the balance of probability, at least a 786. Okay, but if it stays within the 0.5 and 618, it's a zigzag. So it's 5, 3, 5. So anticipate 5 moves. Okay, and typically speaking, in terms of projection, your C wave is going between 1 and 1, 2, 3, 6 at minimum of your A wave, which means Kadena may be projected to give you so I'm saying 1 to 1, 2, 3, 6 minimum. We've seen in crypto zigzags go all the way to the 1618. Why did I put the 5 ratio here? I must have had this epiphany before, because my 5 ratio is perfect right here at the 1618. Okay, so we can have Kadena go all the way to $2,500, which would be absolutely ridiculous. It's more than a 900x. We've seen these zigzags, the impulse of the zigzags, go to 1618 many times in crypto. Okay, the minimum you can expect is again 1 to 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay, so I'm a huge buyer of Kadena. Huge buyer given this development. One, because it's less risky than something like REV. It has a higher market cap, meaning there's more volume in Kadena. So it's a less risky play. And the upside is just as big, if not bigger, than REV. Once again, let's see. REV is giving us... REV is giving us a good 200x, okay? It is giving us a really good 200x, and that's a take profit at the 1236 at 39 cents, okay? REV is still a good play. What I'm doing is I'm hedging. Because with anything in crypto, anything that you invest in, you want to be careful. You never know what's going to happen, right? A project could have a fundamental issue whereby it affects the price action, and there's a sell-off. So what I want to do, given this development, I'll probably split 50-50. Split my risk 50-50 with Kadena and REV, given this. Because this is huge. We're in a zigzag, okay? Again, you don't have much data, so it's hard to say what is going on. This is all that you have, but you using your process of deduction, inductive reasoning based off of the information you have, and given this price action, this is a zigzag. So I'm very excited for what Kadena is going to give. Previously, your A wave gave you 70x, okay? And your impulse typically is a little bigger than your A wave, so I'm anticipating a lot from Kadena. All right, so that's Kadena. That's the development. That's new. You just saw that live. I didn't premeditate that. Okay, that's the beauty of charts. This is part of why I love it. It's like always exciting. There's always something new. Okay, anyway, Verasity is looking a lot like Bitcoin. You're seeing that flat correction, right? You're seeing that flat correction after 5 waves up. You're anticipating, an A, B, C, and this B wave is essentially what you've been waiting for, right? You have A of B, you have B of B. You're waiting for that C of B, that last move. Okay, so Verasity is looking great. You just have to wait, and it's hard to be patient. I get it. It's hard, especially if you've invested up here somewhere, around 2 cents or something like that. It's tough, but you're fine. You're still in a great trade. Here's your risk. here's what your risk reward looks like. Okay, let's say you bought here, right, at 2.2 cents. A lot of people bought there, right? It's still a great trade. Great trade. Risk reward ratio is actually, sorry. It's excellent trade, right? You're risking this much to make that much. R of 7, okay? That's excellent. Excellent. Absolutely excellent. Good for you. Good for you. So, yeah. Verasity still looking good. Okay, so just keep some perspective, please, my friends. Try and stay positive. You'll be fine. We'll be okay. Once price moves, you'll be quickly made whole once again, because I guarantee you it's not going to dilly-dally once it starts moving. Last thing I want to say is this. Remember, you need to put pivots in before price just rockets up. So this is A of B, this is B of B. Bitcoin's putting a pivot in right now. You know, you need to do the same thing in your altcoins. So you're putting pivots in very nicely. Your initial break of structure, B wave, remember B wave is tricky to track, but this could be the B wave, this could be just the first leg of the B wave, and then you put in your pivot, then you start moving. When we start moving, the sentiment's going to be a lot better, but then that's when you want to start thinking of where to sell. Remember how this works. Everybody's afraid. That's when you start thinking buy. When the price is moving, pumping, everybody's happy, you start looking for where to offload your positions. It's counterintuitive. Obviously, you want to wait for your targets to get hit, obviously, right? You're not going to prematurely sell out. Don't do that. But in that euphoria, when price starts to move and Verasity is moving 30%, 40% every day, you're going to look for major resistances to take profit. That's the key. You already want to prepare yourself mentally for that. That's where the planning comes in. Patience, perspective, planning. I think all three are needed for successful trading. All right, that's it from me. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful. You know what? I haven't looked at any of the comments. I completely apologize. Hey, Steve, what would be the max drawdown for BTC this time around if you could share? Obviously. Yeah, I'm sorry. I completely ignored all of the comments. I'm going to answer every single last one. Steve, Leo, nice to see you guys again. Can you see the chats? No, I was in a zone, Leo. I was completely zoned out. I wasn't even paying attention. I'm sorry. Not even. This is my wife says I'm playing. This is play for me. And it's great because it pays. So max drawdown for BTC, yes, absolutely. So based on my analysis, the max drawdown is I think it was 26, I said. Yeah, this is my initial break of structure for reversal, right? Because this is my A of B, this is my B of B. My max drawdown for BTC for this to actually be a legitimate reversal is 26.9. So I could technically take it down here, but I don't think we go to 26.9 or anywhere close there, Steve, because just historically there's so much buy pressure, here, and just looking at what we did in terms of price action in the past, we didn't even let it come down to here, right? There's too many buyers here. We can still come down to 26K, but whatever. It's so much easier when there's no fear of being liquidated. There's no fear of being stopped out, right? My reads, my charting is my risk management. If I'm not on leverage, then I don't need to set a stop, right? I just need patience and a good plan. And every day I'm looking at the charts. Every day I'm zooming out and I'm checking, and my indicators are telling me the next move is up. And I think everybody's kind of getting that feeling. We're going to get a move up, whether it's a move up to reach all-time highs or a move up just for what people call a dead cat bounce. You don't get 6 weeks in a row and no respite, right? You're going to get a move up, right? I think most people can agree to that. It's just a question of where we can expect that next move up to stop. And I think the next major resistance is going to be 41K, this yellow line I have here. So yeah, to answer your question, Steve, precisely 26.9. What is a 618? 618 of what? 618 of what? 618. What do you mean, Steve, the 618? Yeah, Leo, so what's your question? I think, Leo, you had some altcoins that you kept mentioning in the comments before, like during the daily live streams, and I said, just remind me and I'll look at it. Can you remind me what it is that you wanted me to look at? Once we start moving, it's going to be unambiguous. I think we're going to move with such pace and with such verve that people who think that we're just going to go up a little bit and to go down, they're going to change their minds pretty quickly, because it's going to move so fast. You're not going to have any questions of, oh, are we going up anymore? It's going to be clear. Right? That's the kind of price action that we get in bull runs, in impulses to the upside. Just like you got this impulse to the downside, and it was just like, it was hard and it was fast, but this was just mini, right? We were just at 40K not long ago. But, you know, in the past 3, 4, 5 days, just been going down and down and down and down and down. Same thing to the upside. Markets move in both ways. CWE, yeah, that's the one. The maximum lowest it can go for the Elliott wave. Do you mean in this B wave, or do you mean, Steve, in the entire progression? So I don't know if you saw the earlier part of the stream, but I did share the minor wave 2. Sorry. The minor wave 2 that we're in. So based on my count, we're in, let me go in the weekly. So we're in cycle wave 3 of primary wave 3 of intermediate wave 3 and minor wave 2. So minor wave 2, to answer your question, Steve, if this is the question you're asking, the 382 of minor wave 1 is at 21,472, and the 618 is around 11,343. So after we hit all-time high, or test the top of these ranges, and we turn around and come back down, this is where I'm buying Bitcoin, anywhere between 11,343 and 21,472. And when I say I'm buying Bitcoin, you all know I'm not buying Bitcoin. I'm buying other assets in the crypto market, but I'm using Bitcoin as a proxy. Yeah. So that's pretty much it between these regions. And I love these boxes because I put alarms on them. I think this one has an alarm on it. It should. Anyway, I put alarms on them, and then one day it just beeps and rings, and I'm like, oh, what's that? And there's a big sign that says, buy Bitcoin, idiot. And so I'm a buyer around those areas. And yeah. CWE, yeah. Yeah, let's look at CWE or CWeb or whatever. I'm so happy that I can finally look at that, because it's been a while. You've been asking for that for quite some time. Okay, let's open up on KuCoin. Most likely the most liquidity. Okay, in the weekly chart, again, this is a truncated chart, so we have to do what we do, like what we did with Kadena. You don't have much information, but with what you have, you should be able to deduce, some information. So on the weekly chart for me, and our stochastic RSI doesn't have enough information to tell you anything. So this is coming from an impulse, okay? Then a drawdown. Don't know if this was 3 waves or just 1 wave, but it looks to me, and it's quite clear, that this is support right here. We're on support, okay? Like I think my 5-year-old can tell you that. This is just keeping it simple. This is support, right? This was support in March, and this is support once again here, right? When we hit this area. So this is coming here and coming back down. We found support here. We came up from this area around 1.4 cents. We came 200%. We came back down. I think this is a great time to buy if you wanted to buy this asset. Just keeping it simple. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, going on the daily. Let's see. Going on the daily, we get a little more information, and I like what I'm seeing in the stochastic RSI on the daily. You're seeing a strong move right here. You're seeing coiling up. This is great. This is basically a very bullish pattern, right? We're making higher high, or you're basically consolidating in your stochastic RSI, which means that all of this is consolidation. From here, 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 here. That's all consolidation. You're making higher lows. Here, you're making lower lows. That's strong bullish divergence. So I love the simplicity of the stochastic RSI indicator. Nothing against the RSI indicator, to each his own. You can master any indicators, right? But I like stochastic RSI because it's not complicated. You make lower lows in price action. You're making higher lows in the stochastic RSI. That's strong bullish divergence. You're doing that using price action, right? You're doing that on support, strong support, right? All traders, great traders, ask my friend Mark Schwager, or Jack Schwager rather. All great traders, whatever their discipline or their tool of choice is, it if it's Wyckoff, Elliott, what are those, Hikinashi, whatever, they're using support and resistance. You're on support. You have strong bullish divergence on the daily stochastic RSI, and your volume is divergent, meaning when you're going down, the volume is not increasing. The volume's going down. If anything, you know that the next move that the market wants to make is up, because the last time you went up here, you put in strong volume to the upside, right? So you know the next time you'll get strong volume is going to be to the upside. So this is a good buy. This is actually a perfect buy, like right at this level, 1.5 cents. Even if it goes lower, again, you don't have to buy the absolute bottom. The idea, people on crypto Twitter or whatever say, oh, I buy only bottoms, and oh, are you in a drawdown, Anon? No. Any good trader buys close to the bottom. Sometimes you get lucky and buy an absolute bottom, but buy close to the bottom. So this to me is looking like an M pattern recovery, or even a W pattern if you have to include this right here. So boom, boom. Okay. That's what I'm seeing with CWeb. I think this is the best time to buy. The issue with these kinds of tokens and these kinds of investments is, because you have very little information, it's hard to know where to target to the upside, right? I don't have any major resistances that I know to sell. I don't know if it's going to be price discovery, right? All the way through. That's the issue. I don't know how high it can go. That's why I don't buy things like this. But I know that this is going up, but I can't tell you where or how far, right? That's the frustrating part for me. But it's going up. That's all I can say. That's highly likely, probabilistically, it's going up. Fib targets. Okay, that's one way to do it. That's one way to do it. The issue is, Leo, I can't do a good fib retracement or fib extension on this because I don't have a starting point. Okay? Let's assume that this is my base, okay? But what's my top? What am I need 2 points to take a fib retracement, right? Let's say this is my support, and I know this is my support right here. But then where do I pull it from? What's my top? Right? I need to pull it from one place. I know I can stop here at the bottom, but where do I take it from? Is this the top? Or is this where they did their the initial investors release the token release? I don't know. So I still can't do a technically accurate projection, or even there's not enough information. You see what I mean? And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. It's not like you can't make money on this. It's just if I'm making money and I'm like, ooh, I want to buy this or I want to buy that, I want to know approximately how much I can make. Right? I don't know exactly, but I can calculate more or less based if I invest this much in this token, it's highly likely, that it reach this level. Like, Kadena is a good example. I pull out, I'm on log, right? I just use math. I pull out my Fibonacci extension tool, my tops and my bottoms. This is, my retracement. And I know I can bank on the 1 being almost a minimum target, okay? And the 1618, sometimes the 1618 is breached, but, if I'm conservative, I'll target the 1236. But anywhere between the 1 and the 1618, I know is a likely target, very highly likely. And I can backtest it. I can go in the cryptocurrency markets and BTC and a lot of other assets and look at zigzags. Anytime a zigzag's printed, meaning a 535 corrective pattern, and I can measure the C wave, and I measure the C wave to be at minimum 1, maximum between 1618, sometimes even breaching beyond the 1618. I mean, we can even look at it. I remember looking at a zigzag in Bitcoin and charting it. When was this? This was... And this is it. I think this is a zigzag right here. This is a zigzag right here. Let's see. This B of B may be it. Let's see. Yeah, this is a zigzag right here. Do you see what I mean? Perfect example, right? You just go in the chart, you see a zigzag. Look at the zigzag pattern. So 5, 3, 5. So you have 5 waves up, 3 waves down, 5 waves up. The 3 waves down come to between the 0.5 and the 618 of the 5 waves up. Okay, do you see that? It just touched this the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement at 39,600, and then it proceeded to give you 5 waves up. Perfect example. Now, if you take your Fibonacci extension tool, if the books are correct, people who have looked at this and studied this, they give us our targets. You see, if you take, you almost got 1, okay? But you start with the 5 waves, your 3-wave retracement. Your target hasn't hit 1 exactly because 1 extension is 71,000. But you came close. And we're in log, mind you. If you get out of log, okay, and you would probably get out of log for this, okay? And I'm in log dealing with a lot of smaller, sort of assets. You see that we hit the 1236 at 68K. Do you see what I mean? Like, if I saw this and those 3 waves, kind of like Kadena, I see 5 waves, I see 3 waves, I'm getting really excited for 5 waves up, and I know where to take my profits. Minimum 1, maximum around 1618, but around 1236 is likely. Do you see what that means? Or do you see how you do that, Leo? So that's why I would not be too confident in using Fibonacci extension or retracement with CWEB. And let's just look at Kadena. Yeah, Kadena you have to look at in log. Do you see what I mean? If you don't look at this in log with a lot of these altcoins, because they're smaller market cap and more volatile, they don't make sense. Bitcoin, less volatile, you sometimes need to take off the log. It's tricky sometimes, but you have to know when to use log and when not to use log because it may affect your projections. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful. Please like the stream. Be safe. Take care of yourselves. The money doesn't mean shit if you're a mess, okay? People are taking their lives. Let's keep perspective, my friends. You're going to make it. Reduce your risk and stay alive. You will make it. You just have to be a little patient. So how do you reduce your risk? Just get off of leverage. It's not the time to be using leverage. Not financial advice, but if you're using leverage, be ready to lose whatever you're leveraging because the markets are so volatile right now. It's hard to set, your stops and your liquidation points. So just spot buy, relax. We're going up. Ride the wave up. Take profits where you think you can take profits. And let's make some money, right? But let's keep perspective. I think it's very, very likely we're going up. Even though we're drawn down right now, we'll be okay. We'll be all right. You'll be able to buy whatever you need to buy for yourselves and your families. Just stick with it, all right? Great speaking with you guys. Great having you guys. Always fun doing these. I wouldn't miss them for the world. Take care. See you guys later. Bye. How do I stop this?